I wonder what a PhD does to the human mind when you deep dive into subject that much versus what 30 years of Indian Himalayan experiences do.
It's a beautiful question. I always say that when I came to India, I thought my education was finishing. But actually, when I came to India, I learned my education was just beginning. I could tell you exactly what every neuron was made of, but I couldn't tell you how to be in peace. If you said to me, who are you? I would have said, well, I'm, this age. I come from Los Angeles. But it actually was a mindset shift from what I talk about as the Hollywood way of thinking, which sadly these days is not only in Hollywood, it's pervasive everywhere. And it's a way of thinking that says you are your body. You are its size, its shape, its color, its history, its bank account, its followers on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, whichever one you pay attention to. It is its relationships. You are that. And if we think we are that, that's when we suffer. Because you're never beautiful enough. You're never successful enough. You're never popular enough. You're never rich enough. You're never happy enough. But the Himalayan way of thinking, the spiritual way of thinking, what I learned in India is you have a body, but you're not the body. You are soul. You are divinity. You are consciousness. You are one with the supreme reality. And when you shift in the mind, that mindset shift, the suffering ends. India has really taught me how to live.
So that transition into this way of thinking where you're detached from your body, your own past, as well as, I hear a lot of men especially talk about how they want a legacy in the long term. And I would also say this when I was a little bit younger, that, hey, I'm working to build a legacy. But even legacy is attachment of some kind. I don't think that one shouldn't chase legacy because of this thought. I think it's good to leave the world kinder and better than you found it.
Absolutely.
But you gotta set a finish line for yourself. My question to you is, how does one actually shed off the attachments of the past, the attachment that societal conditioning brings you? I see this with a lot of friends my age who I'm 32 now, and there's deeper questions that are arising. There's a lot of questions related to love, commitment, the lack of commitment, suffering. I don't think anyone around me that's my age is completely happy. In fact, I see a lot of people in their 20s kind of happy, but your 30s force you to reflect. I also see people gravitating towards philosophy, towards spiritual conversation. I think that's why we find consumers on these podcasts as well.
So I did an experiment because remember, I'm a scientist at heart. And after I had been in India, I knew from the beginning there is a secret here. Poor children on the street were happier than people I knew living in Beverly Hills or Hollywood. And so I started to get really curious about happiness because I grew up in a world where everyone had everything. But no one was happy. Not just in their 30s, in their teens, in their 20s, in their 40s, in their 50s. And people had fun, maza. Like, oh, we had a great party, had a great pizza, I got an A+ on an exam, oh, that was a great night, oh, that was a great vacation. But on a deep level, a level that sustains you even when life goes up and down, a level in which you're happy even when the pizza is over, that level of sustained joy, deep joy, no one I knew had. And when I was back in America...
You went back to America?
Yes, I was back visiting. I go back periodically anyway to go back and visit.
Okay.
So we're doing work with the United Nations, spiritual teachings. And when I was there, I just started calling and chatting up different people I knew. But they were all people who were at the absolute highest of their chosen career. So someone in academia who was a tenured professor at Stanford, someone who was the chairman of a billion-dollar company, someone who was a successful actress in Hollywood, someone who was a singer whose songs were in the top 10 on the radio, back in the day when we had radios and top 10s and things like that, someone who played professional basketball with the Lakers. And they were all people I knew well, so I could have these really casual conversations with them. But in the middle of the conversation, I asked the question that was my study. And the question was, are you happy? Just that, are you happy? And what I got was every single person gave me one of two answers. Either they said, I will be happy when, or I would be happy if. Will be happy when I lose the 10 pounds I gained over the holiday season. I would be happy if my husband worked less, there were less traffic on the way to work, whatever it was. But all of these people who had attained the absolute highest, and they are still an arm's length away from happiness. And that for me was really the conclusive study that all of these things, they don't bring happiness. It doesn't mean don't do them. By all means, do them. This is the time of life. Search, succeed, attain, grow, acquire, expand. Because if we're looking for happiness in it, it's like looking to buy milk in a shoe store. It's not there. If what we're looking for is just happiness, deep happiness, we know the way. Spiritual practice, service, deep connection, meaningful engagement, creativity. These are the things that actually bring happiness.
I just want to summarize everything
Of
that you
course.
just said once. Okay, and I also come from the perspective of being on the exact same page as you and pitching similar ideas to younger friends of mine.
Wonderful.
You said that you should chase happiness instead of chasing the material reward. If you can do that from day one, nothing like it. Focus on doing creative work, focus on work that adds value, and focus on being in a peaceful state of mind, giving back to society.
Yes.
These are things you can do at 22 as well.
Of course.
But it's just that at that age, you're more inclined to the material game. And I think that's a normal outcome of being at that age. Before we move on, I'd just like to quote this friend of mine. He's been on the show. His name's Satpal Bhai. He's a Nihang Sikh. He said something in a reel that stayed with me very deeply. Satpal Bhai said that he believes that the law of attraction and manifestation, sure, it might work, but what it'll end up leaving you with is a sense of using the law of attraction again. So when you manifest something to get to some material goal of yours, and then you get it, then you're tempted to do it again. So in that process, you're actually getting more attached to material reality anyway.
Yes.
When the long-term goal is to be detached from the things that you want, because all forms of attachment eventually lead to suffering of some kind.
Yes.
So he said that if at all you have to use the law of attraction or manifestation, simply use it to manifest peace.
Yes.
Because if you're in a state of peace and a state of surrender to the divine, and you work through that state of peace and surrender, then the universe will give you even more than what you can possibly manifest or attract into your life.
Absolutely.
And that's the summary of the 10 years of my career. That's what I've learned. That just try being peaceful and happy. Everything else will follow.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.